Hello and welcome back everyone to Nerdy Nekama. Today is Percy Jackson Wednesday, which means we're gonna continue Hecate's Quest, which is a story that is a crossover between Percy Jackson and Harry Potter. This is part 2. Check out part 1 if you haven't yet, and if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and now, let's go! Have you ever had struggles finding good haiku merch or anime merch in general? Because I for sure did. It can be hard. But this shop offers amazing merch. Like, I'm literally obsessed with the haiku merch. They have the cutest hoodies ever. Now, if you want to get 10% off, click the link in the description. They offer me a collaboration, which is literally amazing. And you support my channel this way. So, win-win. Let's go. Percy watched his girlfriend with growing amusement as they wandered through the Diagon alley. It had taken a bit to get used to the colorful shops and fantastical things on every corner. It was fascinating, but definitely too much for his ADHD and trauma-riddled brain. He reacted tense and jumped, ready to fight at every sudden movement. And there were lots of those in the magic-filled streets. Owls flew around, objects were steering through the air, from books to quilts, and around every corner waited a minor explosion. The Stoll brothers would have loved this. After 5 days of walking through here, he knew what to expect, and it got better, though he still discovered new things every time. What had Annabeth on edge, however, wasn't something new, but something she came to despise since they first ventured through this alley. The Gringotts Bank, a wizard bank that refused to comply with the rules of physics. Its pillars were leaning in all but straight directions and should not have been able to support the weight of the white marble with how they were positioned. It was undeniable that it had been built and was held together by magic. The disregard for proper architecture seemed to personally offend Annabeth. Even when they were past it now for the upteenth time that week, she threw a scorching glare at the building. Percy chuckled. Don't make fun of me. It's atrocious. I'm not. I simply love how passionate you are about this. Annabeth huffed, but let him lead her away to the small library they frequented these past days. They had prepared to leave tomorrow, so they would be returning the books they borrowed, hoping that Hogwarts had a library too. There was still a lot they didn't know, and Hecate's prepared and implanted memories only helped so much. So far, they had focused their studies on everything about the American wizarding world and Ilvermorny, the school they supposedly went to. Building on that foundation, Annabeth and Raina moved on to study Hogwarts itself, while Frank and Jason searched for information about the tournament. Percy and Nico took it in their hands to figure out how much their worlds overlapped in the knowledge of monsters, and Piper and Hazel tried puzzling together some rudimentary understanding of magic itself. Will studied the extent medicine went to in this world and healing herbs, while Leo was distraught to find out that anything electric didn't work around Hogwarts. He was sulking ever since. Every evening they met at a big table a bit further away from the other patrons of the inn to discuss their findings and potential strategies and risks. It was still a lot to deal with. A whole new world, and it was frustrating to know that the limited time they had would never prepare them well enough. On the upside, the few interactions with wizards they hadn't been unpleasant. Sure, there were all kinds of people visiting the Leaky Cauldron, but most kept to themselves. It was odd. As a demigod, you quickly learned that everyone was suspicious, and most wanted you dead. Not here. Not yet, at least. The magic seemed to repel most monsters, or disguise them as witches and wizards rather than demigods. Hazel remarked quickly that although the people around them were less affected by it, the mist was much stronger here, opposite to what she had first assumed. Perhaps that could explain why they weren't the target of various attacks as usual. Reyna reminded them sternly not to rely on that. It rang more true than ever now that they prepared to leave. Are you nervous? Aren't you? Yeah, but less about myself and more Nico, right? He looked at her startled before smiling as he nodded in confirmation. Yeah, how did you know? The prophecy. A child of shadows by night embraced, and Hogwarts mysteries, challenges faced. It could be Hazel too, you know? I know. And by the gods, they have both been through enough, but Nico, I promised Bianca I would protect him, and I already failed at that, royally. You didn't fail. It's not like you choose to forget all of us when Hera sent you away. I failed him even before that. Annabeth sighed and intertwined their fingers. And Hazel, she seems to be fine now. From all of us, she handles this whole situation best, but Nico... Can you blame him? He just found a place to belong and was ripped out of it again. Yeah. But hey. She smiled gently and nudged him in his side. We're with him now, and he has Will. It's gonna be alright. Percy reciprocated the gesture, and they slowly proceeded to walk back to the inn, with Annabeth throwing one last angry glare at the white building in the center of the alley. We depart tomorrow. Piper got us instructions on how best to reach King's Cross Station. It is actually not too far from here. I also figured out what they meant by platform 9 3/4. There is a magical barrier so that muggles can't enter. We have to run through the wall between the platforms 9 and 10. She explained patiently, while looking a little nervous at the others. The way the old witch had explained it was still confusing to her, but she tried to relay the information as accurately as possible. We are supposed to run through a wall. What are the chances that whoever told you that was joking and we're all gonna get hurt? None. I charm-speaked her. It was the truth. Sounds good to me. I'd prefer to shadow travel. Will looked at Nico sharply, but Hazel next to them shook her head. If this barrier functions like an illusion, it makes sense. We should get through no problem. We only have to pray to get the right wall. Frank gulped, and Leo looked like he wholeheartedly agreed. Tomorrow begins the school year, not just for us, but also the regular students attending Hogwarts. I'm sure there will be others we can ask for directions. Wouldn't that give away that we aren't wizards? No, Seaweed Brain. We are still exchange students of sorts. It is expected that we don't know the specifics about this school. Right. If we look at what Hecate gave us, the dark blue robes must be the uniform from Ilvermorny. Should we wear them before we go to the station? I'm not sure. The maggots would notice, and they can't exactly pass as normal private school uniforms considering that cloak thingy. Perhaps there will be opportunity to change on the way or upon arrival. I would wait, just to make sure. Most nodded in agreement, and Annabeth took a few notes on a piece of parchment. She refused to use a quill because it was so impractical, but they had made an effort these past days to adopt the habits they saw in the wizards around them. It was the first time Piper felt she had inherited some of her dad's talent for acting, or perhaps her charm suit made it easier to pass as normal when interacting with the wizards and witches around them. They discussed a few more details regarding the plan for tomorrow before parting ways. Jason took her hand as they strolled up to their room. Theirs was opposite that of Annabeth and Percy, and they bid them good night just before closing the door behind them. With a sigh, Piper let herself fall onto the bed. She almost expected the harpies of Camp Half-Blood or Coach Het to walk in any moment to lecture them about how a boy and a girl weren't allowed in the same cabin, but of course, that didn't happen. What are you thinking about? Home. Your dad? He sat down next to her and gently started tracing patterns over her arm. No, the camp. Jason hummed an acknowledgement. Do you miss it? She nodded and snuggled up to his side. I'm just a bit overwhelmed, that's all. And I like that we finally had a place to relax and feel safe, together. We are still together. Yes, but on a quest again. So far it seems pretty tame compared to the last one. She looked up to face him, her eyes filled with concern. That makes it worse. There's always a calm before the storm, and I don't like how new this all is. Annabeth is right. We aren't prepared enough. We weren't much better prepared when we left for the ancient lands. And look where that got us. We survived, and stopped Gaia. And lost Leo, even if it turned out he was okay later. A moment of silence spread between them, and she rested her head on his chest, listening to the calm rhythm of his heartbeat. Jason, I can't do all of that again. You won't have to. This is not nearly as big as the quest with Gaia. We still have all of our memories, and the Greeks and Romans are united again. She sighed, but nodded. Yes, I guess you're right. Jason shook his head. Sorry, that came out wrong. Their eyes met again, and his filled with compassion. I get it. I'm scared too. He gently brushed a few strands of hair from her face. All of us being on a quest together again is scary after the last time, but at least we know now that we can make it. She smiled softly and leaned down to see their lips in a tender kiss. When they separated again, she simply snuggled closer and fell asleep shortly after. She stirred once more when Jason positioned them properly on the bed, but fell right back asleep as she was pulled into his arms. Tomorrow they would have to face the unknown, but tonight they could rest. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I hope you liked it. And if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. At 20 likes, I will continue this series. Again, this series does not include anything from Trials of Apollo or The Sun and the Star, though I have read The Sun and the Star. I've not yet read Trials of Apollo. Yeah, I read that in a completely wrong order. Anyway, tell me your favorite quote and/or moment under the pinned comment. It would greatly appreciate it. Or your favorite emoji in the comments. A special thanks as always goes out to my nerdy Neckos, especially Morgan and Wanda for just joining. Thank you so much for becoming a nerdy Necko. I really appreciate it. You support this channel. I make sure I can put out more and more content. If you right now watching are not a nerdy Necko and want to be, check out the join button under this video or check out more content. I heard it's pretty good, and I hope you have a wonderful and amazing day. Bye! Also check out my reaction channel.
Everybody just do your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.